most were my children. When I became a parent, there was a conscious effort to be a better parent than I had. So, and to be a better parent, I had to be a better person. So it was a very interesting adventure my kids and I went on. And that is, and so those are the folks I would thank for making me a better person and a better parent. And we'll go this way.
Okay. Hi, I'm Julie Griffin-Cuban. I retired from Ohio State University. I guess I would have to say my parents too, but in a very different way. I was kind of a troublemaker as a teenager.
No.
I know. I look so,
Nah, try another one.
No, it's true. So my parents kicked me out of the family and told me I had to get a job and I needed to find a place to live, so I did. And then I moved in with my boyfriend, who my parents thought was a drug dealer, probably because he was.
Is this a known thing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was just weed, but
Yeah, right. But back then,
that was a big deal.
Just wanted to make sure.
And so I got a job. I changed jobs and went to work at a bank. And then I went to work as a typist at Ohio State University. And one day, this faculty member stopped by my desk and said, "You are too smart to," he was German, "You are too smart to do this for the rest of your life. You must take classes, you must get your degree." And I said, "But I have 2 kids now. I could only take 1 class a quarter. I'd be like 30 by the time, 32 by the time I'm done." And he said, I said, "It'll be 10 years. I'll be 30. He said, "Oh, I see. How old will you be in 10 years if you do not take any classes?" I was like, "Oh my God, he's right." So I took classes. I got my undergrad. I got my master's degree, and I found my second and forever husband there at Ohio State. He was a philosophy faculty member, and I moved up and I retired as an assistant vice president. That's my story.
We know a little bit more about you now.
Hi, my name is Lauren Davis. I'm a community member for District 3. I'd say the person who helped shape me the most was probably my younger sister, because when I was growing up, my father traveled all the time. My mother worked 2 jobs, and so I was in charge of watching my sister, who was 8 years younger than me. And so, because my older brother definitely, he didn't want to be a part of it. So, so just I learned responsibility very early on, and the consequences of if you're mean, you're mean to the one that you're supposed to be responsible with, because of course we fought because we were kids. And so so I would say ultimately my younger sister.
Wow. Well, good evening. My name is Pamela Shields. I am the community representative for District 2. And who probably I would say most impressed, shaped, and formed my life was my mother. And she always imposed and impressed upon me the importance of being a woman of the word or a person of the word. You say you're going to do it. And do it, whatever this new commercial is, start to finish. So that's what I live by. And I am the voice for the elder seniors and older adults, and form the Urban Aging Residents Coalition at the Middle of the Bandit on my front porch with a total of 16 people, and we now have a strong number where we meet monthly of about 60 elder seniors and older adults. Thank you.
Okay, Keith, our commissioner, we are, the question here, and I'll give you time to think about it, is who helped shape you into the person you are today? What is the one thing you'd like to thank? And Commissioner Benson, you're next.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay, cool. So my name is Dr. Sharif Benson. My mom is definitely the person that shaped me the most. She taught me how to care for people, and that is part of why I chose my profession, because of her and my aunts. And what was the last part?
What would you think?
Yeah, I would thank them for teaching me how to care and take care of other people and forming community.
You're next.
I didn't know if you were gonna go back.
We'll give them time to think.
Okay. All right, Roy Lowenstein, District 4 Commissioner, Zoning Chair. So, I've been thinking about this. It's a tough question. So, as a kid, my mother taught me how to live, but my father, by example, taught me about values and having having a goal. And he was he was a big proponent of social justice, and I really carried that with me the rest, my whole life. And so I would thank him for that.
Tobias Katz, District 1 Commissioner of Zoning. Mine is probably my grandfather, who worked hard and wanted in traditional business and wanted the complete opposite for his grandchildren. Helped teach me that there was a world out there outside of the traditional doctor, lawyer, engineer things. And through that encouragement, I found the arts and design world, and that's what I'm in now.
Casey Crisp, District 2, zoning, and I would say my dad and my stepdad, one of them taught me to never know a stranger, and the other one taught me to always fight for people who need your help. So I guess I would thank them for that.
Commissioner.
Sure. I'm gonna do the classic two answer. A lot of people said their mom. I would definitely say my mom. Say my mom. She had cerebral palsy, and can't help but admire her for all the tenacity that she had. But really, my grandmother, had a profound impact on my life too. She really introduced me to a lot of different foods and cultures, and to travel while you're young, and I really she had a real impact on my life. So done a lot of traveling while I was young and whatnot, and I try to take her advice to heart for sure.
Thank you all. All right, there is no old business today, but we do have a presentation. Is Mr. Tiba here? Did I pronounce your name right?
Yeah, Tava.
Taba.
Good enough.
Mr. Taba is is the zone and project manager.
Sure. Thank you for having me here today. I'm here just to let you know we were here in probably around May. We came back in July, and we are continuing the work of comprehensively updating the city's zoning code for the first time in 70 years. And we are also working on creating a update to the Columbus citywide planning policies and creating a citywide land use plan. When we were here previously, we indicated that there were two options with the land use plan. One would be that it would supersede your area plan and your area plan would go away, or that the two of them would work together. After feedback from different area commissioners and area commissions, we've decided to keep both of the area plans, so you would still have your area plan, but it would work with the Columbus growth strategy in areas, and you can use your area plan to bolster the C2P2 document if you so wish in your reviews. In areas and circumstances where the two land use plans would contradict each other, though, the Columbus growth strategy would take precedent on that fact. Your land use map will be replaced by the citywide Columbus growth strategy map, which would probably be helpful for the Near East because a lot of the Near East is lacking land use policy along the residential areas, just primarily on the corridors. And just keep in mind that the growth strategy map will be phased in, just like zoning is going to be phased in. So there will be a period of time where you will have your business and institutional campus, your mixed use land use categories, and your mixed use and industrial warehouse categories. Those will be replacing the related land use categories but your other land use categories dealing with the residential areas, which in your case, it's kind of hit or miss, those will remain in place, right? So it will be a phased-in approach. After we were here, I just want to give you a brief rundown on our community engagement. We had a council resolution of support in late June, and we began robust community engagement at that point in time. We did 4 workshops. We had an online survey that was in place from July and August for 2 months. We had 3,100 survey responses. We did 26 pop-up events at different community events because we wanted to go where people were and try and reach out and spread the message that this was going on. And we interacted with over 2,048 individuals. These were not just people walking by. These are people that we spoke to, that we explained the process to, that we encouraged them to participate. And overall, our results from the survey were between 65 and 75% support for what we were proposing. We closed the survey we also did 2 walking tours. We did a walking tour at Grandview Crossing, which was you were there, correct? Yes, Grandview Crossing, which is where we were kind of exploring what a business and institutional campus might look like, a place where there's office, retail, and residential. And then we also did a tour of the south side, industrial areas, because what we're trying to think about a lot with this phase is legacy industrial, and how does that want to change over time, and how do we allow it to slowly change to more of a mixed use in some instances. So like I said, we had 65 and 75% support. We continue to meet with the Zoning Advisory Committee, which is made up of residents from the community that have a high level of industrial areas, area commissioners, industrial brokers, commercial real estate developers, industrial architects, commercial architects, people who are in those sectors. You know, we're planners, we're not in it very deep, but we do show them our ideas just to make sure we're not creating pie in the sky things that aren't applicable in the real world. And for the most part, they've been supportive of what we've been presenting. We haven't had any huge red flags. We did the 4 workshops as well throughout the summer. So we took all that information and we read every comment from the survey, and we went through, and when we updated our maps, we looked at all the feedback that we received from our surveys. The survey was asking, do you support the land use? If not, what do you support? And then at what intensity do you support it? Do you support low, 1 to 4 stories, 5 to 7, and 8 and above? Do you support heavy industrial, light industrial? And then business and institutional campus, we asked those intensity questions again. We did make changes to large areas of the map, based off of community feedback. You know, we had all kinds of some people wanted to have urban core in the middle of a neighborhood. We weren't going to support that. We had some people who wanted single family residential along a major corridor. That also, we did take the balance. If there was a hot spot of community concern, we did take that into account, and we did take certain areas off the map. And so what we are coming to with you now is we have a public comment period that started October 14th. It will run through November 9th. During that public comment period, we're coming out to the area commissions as well to let them know that this process is taking place and to let them know what our decision was on the area plans. We have 4 pop-up events, 1 on the north side, the south side, the east side, and the west side. But for the area commissioners who have been more engaged, I would recommend coming to our open house if you'd like to have some more engagement. On October 23rd, we are going to be having an open house at 141 on North Front Street, same place we had the gala. It'll be, you're welcome to join. We'll just have the boards, the maps. We'll talk about what we are proposing, and you can provide feedback at that point in time. Additionally, on our website, you pulled it up here. It's not a survey, it's more of a comment period. But what you'll see is we're coming up with a couple things now. We have the land use map that we are proposing at this point in time. It's got 5 land use categories on it. The 3 mixed use, industrial and warehouse, and business and institutional campus. This lays the policy foundation for us to be able to do the zoning districts in 2026. So we have the policy in place. right? We've identified what areas are gonna be mixed use, and then we're gonna identify the appropriate zoning districts. Some of those will be the same zoning districts we had in phase one, your urban general, your community activity center, regional activity center. Some of them will be new districts. We're talking about a lower scale mixed use. And so if you look at the map of your area, you have it pulled up here. You'll see a lot of that was phase one. Everything that's in pink is mixed use one. Everything that is in orange is more of a mixed use two. And everything in the red, that's phase one. That is your mixed use two right there. Red is phase one. So there you go. So there is your phase one of mixed use three. That's already been rezoned. So what you see in pink there, we're thinking about creating a lower scale mixed use. This is a mixed use where we're not foreseeing any kind of tear down rebuilds or anything like that. But we do want to allow people to have more flexibility with what their uses are in the code. So if someone wants to have a single chair barber shop in their house, or if someone wants to have an ice cream store or something very small scale commercial, that would be allowed in those areas. We haven't created the districts at this point in time. We've just set the land use policy. So we will be coming back to you in 2026 for engagement on the districts. We are going to council at the end of this year to get approval for the land use map and the amendment to C2P2, C2P2, which is the Columbus Growth Strategy. That's the document. So here on the website, we have public comment. You can download the document. Right there, you can see the policy document. The next one is view the proposed policy map. And the final one is that's where you can enter your comments. You can comment on specific portions of the Columbus Growth Strategy document, or you can comment on the map as well. I think that covers everything that I wanted to inform you of. One final thing, we do have an information station. This is something that we're trying new. I can pass this around if you'd like, but what we're doing is we have a online reservation time where you can, and it's open to the public as well if you'd like, you can reserve an hour to speak with one of our city planners about the proposal and the map. And it'll be a reservation one-on-one, and you can talk to us about what we have to propose if you want to take a deeper dive as well. That will be open for 4 hours every day until November. And so with that, we look forward to your engagement. We look forward to your feedback on what we are proposing.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'd like to suggest planning that we actually delve into this so we could have a response for it.
Absolutely, that'd be fantastic.
So we're one of the, 5 area commissions that actually has a planning committee.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah, if you want to provide some sort of written feedback to the city, is that what you're proposing? Or?
Yeah, or maybe after we meet with at the desk and just share what our comments are as we review the plan for the near side.
That'd be fantastic. Sure.
Chair, may I ask
Yes,
a question?
please.
And this is just a point of clarification.
Sure.
Your open house, give me the date and again, I know you said the address, I know where it is.
Yes.
The date again and the time for that. Okay.
Yes, so it is October 23rd from 5 to 7.
Thank you.
And please visit our website. On our website, if you go to, so we have our calendar of events right there. So there you see the library pop-up. We had that at Martin Luther King. If you go to current proposal.
Yeah, oh, no, wrong button, sorry.
At the top.
Is the website
At the top
zoomed in?
on the.
Oh, I see, here.
You go there and you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll also see, keep going. This is where our sign up is for the information
Reservation.
station. You click there and you select the time to speak with us. There you go, so you can see, you put in your name, your email address at the time. If you go back to the website itself, you scroll down to the bottom, keep going. There you have, nope.
Sorry, calendar popped up in display, let's go back.
No, it's all the way at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Keep going. There's the calendar of all of our events on the website, so you can find our calendar of events and follow us. Additionally, if you're on our email list, hopefully you're all on our zoning email list.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. If not, you can sign up online on that same website, and perhaps your chair can share that link with you. We send out all of our information, all the dates, all of the events, and then on social media as well, on Columbus Planning Facebook page, we announce all of our events. Any further questions?
No, this was very informative, thanks.
Okay, thank you, appreciate your time.
Are there any other questions? Any from zoning?
Oh, actually.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of comments about this, but this is, I don't think
Okay.
this is really the best
Sure, okay,
time for all of that.
right, sure.
I asked this question in our Grandview visit, and I only asked so that other people can be aware that it exists, and if they feel so that they need to send in comments and comment on it, they can do that on their own time. But I asked, when we walked through Grandview, I was made aware of the rail that exists behind the stadium that goes, behind Hilliard all the way down to, or behind Grandview, I should say, from Hilliard down to the stadium, that there were plans around the trail system that was being done in the Columbus area. I want to say I know that there were some dollars put forth towards that. I bring it back up into the air. Are there any discussions about using that existing rail line that may become in the possession of Columbus, like the city of Columbus in the future?
Specifically behind the stadium?
Yes, the one that goes behind the stadium from to Hilliard.
I'm not aware of that. I
Okay.
apologize, no, that's not my department, so I'm not sure.
It's okay.
I know about the green line, but I'm not sure about that. Ricky Parks would be the one that's the big one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. So there's no old business. Under new business, I'm waiting for Commissioner Frost to get here. He was setting up a call station, and she is the District 2 rep, and we have a property in District 2. So what I'd like to do is reverse the order of the two properties and have 1107 East Mound present first, and then we'll go ahead and do 440 Taylor after that presentation. So who is here for the 1107 East Mound Street? Would you please introduce yourself?
I am Sakia. I'm Cecil
Last name, please.
Williams.
Thank you.
We've never done this before, so we have no idea what we're doing. So we're just going
All
with
right,
the flow.
then we'll explain it to you.
I know, but Mr. Rice, you sent me to Long Street. I just want to tell you that.
I sent you the Long Street.
Yes, you gave me the address of 1393 East Long Street.
Luckily, we were
Ooh.
able to.
Which just was why I said, she was like, there's no such address. I'm like, it is, the email. So
We found it.
I said, I can't wait to get in here and see who Mr. Rice is.
Great, so what you're doing is you're presenting your project, including the variances that you're asking. And you have about 3 minutes to describe the project. After that happens, we open the questions up to the planning committee. And then after we're done, we turn it over to the zoning committee. They ask their questions. And then we ask for community feedback. And then finally, the planning committee will vote on the project. And after that, we actually will give you some cards to fill out for the zoning site visit, which will be the next step in the process of this property's movement through the NEAC pipeline.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and start and describe your project, please.
Okay, so what we're planning to do over at 1107 is, it used to be a church to turn into a daycare and a community center. And what that is, the community center downstairs is for the after-school program, day camp, summer camp. On Saturdays, we also hold community events for the kids where they can come and have free lunch. We also do things like mental health, we do art, we do gardening. We touch on a lot of different bases. Right now, I mean, this is something within our plan is on Sundays also involving where we can do either a hot or cold meal for homeless where they can come in and eat, take a shower on Sundays. But right now, our biggest thing is opening up the daycare. And by it being a church, we have to get it rezoned for that. From my understanding that this had come across the board before, which it actually was approved to become a daycare, but she backed out due to the owners of the building. Not so much sure about that, but that's pretty much what we are, and that's pretty much what our project is. It is a daycare, and like I said, downstairs it will be after school program, day camps, summer camp, things of that nature downstairs. But
It'll be a
upstairs,
full community center is downstairs.
Okay, any questions from the planning committee?
So first, I just want to tell you, I live like a block away from this, and this area is something.
We did walking.
We have, ton of children in that area that are just kind of running around all the time. So my greatest concern for you guys, one is there's no, there's, I guess, no pull-off, I guess I would say, for like unloading children and the like. And so I'm just concerned about traffic and what your plans are for that, because cars just just absolutely fly down Mound. And especially like as soon as they see the light screen, they're just, not paying attention. So I am concerned about that. And this is just a side note, but have you spoken with the church that is on Oakwood and Fulton? That I believe is the Macedonia Church. They actually have a food pantry once a month on a Saturday, and so and people come and get free food, and so that might be able to help tie in.
Yes, we can partner with them.
But really, my main concern is how are you going to offload these kiddos?
So, with that, we looked at the same parking that the church, already had, because they actually had like a daycare type of, deal at the church downstairs. They utilized the back. So they gravelled the back and they utilized the back, but the same parking that the church used, that, we were gonna use as well. So we do have what is that, Champion? We do have, the Champion, side street, which I do know the cars come down, and, in front of Mound. I thought the front of Mound would be more safer than Champion.
It would. I'm just both are kind of risky to be full disclosure on that.
So, but as of right now, we don't offer transportation, so it's pretty much moms, dads, dropping off kids and picking them up. We don't offer transportation at this time. But like I said, our hours of operation are from 6 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. So therefore, like maybe I would suggest like maybe cones or something, that blocks off for where the parents, can pull in and park, and where they know, they have the little turtle man that the schools put out there, for people to know where they can park and not park. So that was the only space that I felt that was really safe for the parents to pick up and drop off. So that would be, and for my staff, we would utilize the back.
Gotcha.
So we wouldn't do no on street parking, we would park in the back. And like they said, we had, I think, to gravel that part. I'm not for sure, but.
We can also utilize our staff in order to, like, it'll be like a school crossing attendant or something like that. We can also utilize them to, direct the traffic and stand, wherever the kids will be crossing or whatever. They will be like a crossing agent for the kids entering the cars and getting out of the cars. So that would be like our safety net for them.
That was something we have to implement, yeah.
Gotcha. And then is that lot next to yours? Is that part of your like
The city?
Yeah, that lot. Is that part of the church?
Yes.
Is that gonna be developed as well for the daycare?
Yes, all that will be fenced. Well, so we're fencing in half for the playground use.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna fence in half of that for the playground use. So the other part will be for the community center. So like I said, on Saturdays, we have different events. We wanna do a garden out there. I also want to do a healing garden for Mothers Against Gun Violence. That would be myself. My son was killed in 2013, so that's something I do a lot, is advocate for Mothers Against Gun Violence. And so when we do grief conference, I want to be able to have a space where they can do a healing garden. So I don't want to utilize the whole thing. So I will use just half of it for the play area.
But also not having the playground, they won't you know, the community people won't have access to the playground. 'Cause we don't have-
Commissioner Benson?
Hi, my name is Sharif Benson. I'm the co-chair of planning. I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I'd say the general feeling probably on this side, which is planning to be voting tonight, is probably in support of this, I think. The main thing is that you'll also be speaking to zoning and doing a zoning site visit, and I already know they're going to ask, so I'm going to do the ask for them, maybe in advance. Is there, for all the plans that you have, they're really going to want to see a site visit or something on paper to show them what they're going to be essentially voting on, if they're, I'm not sure that it'll be necessary, but I would have something to show us what we're looking at.
Like, what we plan on just overall doing in there?
Yes, if you have that all down in paper or in digital form, that would be very helpful to them, because I mean, I've been hearing this and this all sounds wonderful and I can imagine it. Not everyone may be as
You should
imaginative.
imagine it.
Like I said, I can, but other folks may want things written down. But yeah, if you have it available, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Now, it's everything that,
Just give this to you, right?
I remember, Shields, do you have a?
Yes, I just have a, very brief inquiry. What's gonna be your capacity? What would you be licensed for? How many?
so this is from what I got from the church, it was 126.
Okay,
That's
it's a lot of people.
that's a lot. That's what, the capacity of the church holds. So, but in each classroom, we are 12 per classroom. So we have 4 classrooms upstairs in the infant room, so we have a total of 5. So for me, I feel like over 12, we're really not getting what they need. So for each one, every room is 12 kids, no more, no less. Downstairs is after school program, so bigger kids is a lot more easier to kind of maintain than smaller children, because you know, between 0 and 5 is the sponge year. So those are the ones that I concentrate on a lot. So I'm not trying to overcapacitate each classroom for the dollar. So I'm keeping them at 12 per room. So I would never reach 126.
Okay, but what's your projected? You thinking about 100 maybe?
No,
Not even that much?
not even that much. Because this is not my first child care. I have one on my
Right.
born. So in that center, I hold like 37 kids.
Mhm.
So I would say with a space this big, I probably would say, give or take, with school agers, around maybe about 60.
That's
Yeah. Because that's a lot easier, and it will grow, but I'd rather have a waiting list than
Absolutely.
be overwhelmed.
and considering who you're serving,
Mm-hmm.
and as you've already referenced, particularly if your children have been traumatized through gun violence at their home, which I will commend you for addressing that issue.
Yes, thank you.
Any other planning comments?
Just a point of order.
Yes.
I think this is strict.
Well, I have a District 4 one.
But no big deal.
Okay, we can fix that. Yeah. Commissioner Lomacki?
So what Commissioner Benson was saying is true, but we need more than a site plan. We need to see, okay, let me put it this way. We've had childcare centers
Yes.
come through before. I know a little something about the licensing of childcare centers from something I did years ago. We're not gonna substitute our judgment for that of the state agency that licenses childcare centers. However, I mean, so that means we're not gonna dig into what all the programming you're gonna do and your teacher-child ratios and what have you. That's for them that do the licensing. However, it's, as a zoning matter, we still need to see a floor plan or building plan of the space. We need to get a sense of what it is. Is there space there for you to do what you say? It's not that we don't trust you, but there's the trust and verify part. So So we're gonna need to see that sooner rather than later, really. We should have seen it tonight. Now, I understand you have been through this before, so you might not have been aware of that, but, it's not just zoning, planning wants to see, they wanna see what you're gonna do, how the ground lays out. You talked about fencing that space.
Mhm.
Well, we'd like to see what it is, that's all. I don't,
I think it look different.
What are you referencing? The document or the image?
Yeah.
I took it off of Street
Oh,
View so
okay.
they could see the map
'Cause I'm
view.
like, I don't know.
I can take it back to Street View if you'd like. Would you like me to?
So you want to see like a floor plan, site plan with it like fenced in kind of look,
Yeah,
to give you a kind of idea.
right, and since there are issues that were brought up about traffic and where drop-off is gonna be and all of that, that's all relevant to whether it's an appropriate location for a childcare center. Not just for the licensing agency, but for us from the zoning perspective too, because
Understood.
we gotta solve that problem. So you would wanna give us a bird's eye view of this piece of property and how it's gonna be used, and then inside the building. Now, here, you're using an existing building, so we're not interested in looking at elevations or that kind of thing that we would be if it was new construction. But, you know,
Okay.
we need to see that stuff.
Yeah, we can definitely get those things for you.
Okay.
I have it,
That's fine.
emailed over to you tomorrow, cause I do have the site plan for inside. But I guess I can have, the floor plans for inside, and I guess I can just have them do the site plan, just,
For
you
the
know,
outside,
for the outside for you. So I
parking
can
lot
send
and
you both for the
everything.
inside and the outside, so you can kind of get an idea of inside what each classroom is, far as.
Yeah, so just a building plan that shows the rooms and how they'd be used
And
seems like an
you want
appropriate thing.
the,
This doesn't have to be a final architectural plan or something that you would be using to go get permits for any changes you make, but just even something you drew yourself with a pencil on a ruler to scale
I got
would be adequate.
yeah, I
for-
have that for you. I will have
Okay.
that for you tomorrow.
That'd be great.
Cause the only thing I have to do now is the outside, cause I got the
So
inside.
I might have some questions, but I don't have enough information about the use of the land, use of building, because I don't know enough about it. But it sounds like you've got 5 classrooms, you're gonna have a maximum capacity of 12, you're gonna have a maximum capacity of 12 times 5 or 60 kids, and.
Cause we have so it's a church, of course, so it's a downstairs.
Right,
So the downstairs is being used for after-school program for older kids. The after-school program,
right.
day camp, and in the summertime, summer camps, but day camp goes on all the way, cause we're not one that just does it in the summer, so it's day camp now.
Very good. Anyone else on zoning have a question?
Okay, any community comments? Hearing none, I'd like a motion to approve the project.
Move to approval.
Wilbur has moved to, is there a second?
Second.
Shields second. All those in favor, raise your hand.
Can I make a counter motion to continue discussion on this project for another minute and a half?
Yes,
Motion's been made, I think you can discuss some technical.
yes, great. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, okay, so do you want to do discussion before the vote, or do you want to do the vote?
No.
Okay, we can just.
Discussion,
okay.
the motion been made.
Because it's your first time through this process, I want to do a better job. It seems like we may have also given you the wrong address, so I apologize for that first. But I
Oh,
want
no,
to make
it's
sure.
okay.
No, you're okay. I just
We
want to make
still
sure.
made it on time.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just
so I
didn't wanna
appreciate you
be
being
late.
here. No, you're good. I want to talk about the process because I think it'll be helpful really quickly for what comes next. So this is the planning zoning meeting. Planning will vote on the project. Planning is essentially like, is the plan of what you want to do make sense? I think you can see the folks may or may not be on your side. I think more so on your side. I'm not going to speak for anyone else, maybe just myself.
Right.
But then you'll have to do zoning, and zoning is kind of the main reason or crux that you're here outside of planning. So I want to let you know, while planning will be voting on it, zoning is a whole separate matter. So planning will vote here in just a moment, and then you'll get a zoning site visit day, and you'll do that. Then you'll come back for the general body meeting. The reason I mentioned that before we vote is folks may vote no on this right now based on the fact that we haven't seen the plans of what the thing's actually gonna look like. And it sounds like folks have safety concerns about the traffic and things like that. Once you have that handled, I think folks may vote differently or not, so I just don't want any votes to be disheartening, because we'll actually come back for a general body meeting vote, and that's kind of when you get your final recommendations. Just keep that in mind.
Can I send my site plans over to you, Mr. Rice?
Yes, you can do that. I'll distribute them to the rest of the two committees. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, place your hand, please. 1, 2, 3. Those opposed? 1. Abstentions? 1. Okay, 3, 1, 1. The motion carries. Mr. Commissioner Lowenstein.
Yeah, I was just looking up at when the site visit, which I believe would be the 8th, right? Because
I can just pull it up.
full body meeting would be on.
What is today? I don't even know my date. Today's the 16th. So I see here is that Saturday is the 1st.
For what?
For the zoning site, isn't it?
Well,
Just the general bodies and
That's for sure,
Yeah,
because I thought.
after the
All right.
zoning body.
It's funny, I apologize to you for this, but the site visit meeting is the Saturday before the general body meeting where the whole commission will consider your case, and that's a particular point in the month, and so I wanted to make sure I had that correct.
Okay.
So here's the next step. So, on November 8th is when we'll have that site visit meeting. So that will actually be just the zoning committee, right? Meeting in person at the property,
Okay.
okay? And that will happen at, 9 o'clock in the morning. It's a Saturday.
Okay.
Okay, so, but in addition to the zoning committee coming, the people who live within 125 feet of the property will be notified. It's the same group of people that are on the notification form for when this goes to council.
We've talked to mostly everybody in that community, so yeah.
So it's
I'm okay with that.
it's a big list, so we printed off labels, and what we will want you to do, require you to do, is to fill out these postcards. You don't mail them. They need to be filled out on the back, the labels, the address labels put on the front, and they need to be brought back here and given to Mr. Ovalle, who's the city's liaison to this commission, okay? So,
Yeah.
what
That's him right there.
what goes on the back is, you know, it's the Near East Area Commission. The date would be the November 8th. The location would be the address of the property. The application number is the one, CV 25080, and you're the applicant, you know who the property owner is, so you have to, unfortunately, fill out the back on each card and then bring them back here. The city will take responsibility for mailing,
Okay.
okay? You can do this,
Dr. Kathleen Bailey as well.
what,
So this is not in south of Maine, so while you can get neighborhood like feedback, it's actually like, that's why I pulled up the other map.
That's probably why she didn't understand why I was calling.
Yeah. So this is as
isn't this
Commissioner.
south of me?
No,
No.
it's because it's in District 3, it's actually not in District 4. So if I look at the map here, it's right.
I mean,
over-
she's not, her group is not, it's not a civic association.
It's still a
the same.
neighborhood
But
group.
I would,
It doesn't hurt to talk to her, but technically the civic association I think they're in is actually Old Town East at 11.
No,
okay,
they're south of Maine.
If I'm looking at this address right, south of Maine starts over here.
Starts at Main Street.
Wilson is
I
the
thought-
boundary.
Wait,
I've
so
always been under the impression it was everything in the whole nearest area south of Main Street.
Yeah, that's my impression also.
There's not a lot of historic maps there.
Well,
Well,
Part of South of Maine,
We're
it's
like
not
the
included in South of Maine.
Medicaid, like
That
little
feels a
bit
little-
of
So there's,
counties.
I don't know why it's not showing, but there's actually like a red line that shows.
I think Ms. Bailey should definitely be contacted.
No, I think
I
she should be made
contacted
aware.
her, and she didn't understand why, but I definitely contacted her. We spoke for a while.
Okay. We'd like to hear what she thinks too, and she may end up coming to that meeting on November 8th, so she should know about it. Would you take these?
Yes.
Please, you can hang out here, fill them out while you're here, it's gonna take a while. Or you can bring them back by next, Tuesday.
I think
So about-
come back to you tomorrow.
Okay, excellent.
I'm gonna send this to you, Mr. Rice.
thank you.
Code maps is what we call survey maps is just this part of South of Maine.
Is that our map? That's our
Yeah.
map.
And, but I made it referencing.
Yeah, but our map is wrong.
It's not fully correct, I think is a better way to say it.
Right. Yes, that is.
Yeah,
Maybe a nicer way of
I may have
putting
taken it a little personally too, because I made this map,
Old
but,
Town East did not go stop.
Right.
so.
Well, Tina also believes
They own
believes
all
that they
of
have like the part above Broad, and that's
Yeah,
just not
I
true.
know. All right, let's keep our, you
We'll keep it
know.
moving. but-
Okay, if you're done, please vacate the table, we need to have our next group.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Our next property is 440 Taylor Avenue.
Chairman Rice, I need to recuse myself from this, discussion.
Okay.
Due to my employment at Enterprise, Community Partners, we've done business together, and we are currently doing business together, me and my employer, so, recuse myself.
Thank you.
Cool.
You don't have to leave though.
Yeah, I mean, technically, that's proper refusal, so.
Oh, he just wanted to leave.
He can listen to this.
So would you please come to the table, introduce yourselves, you have 3 minutes or 5 minutes to start explaining.
Sure.
This is actually a big project, and handle it yourself.
Thumb drive.
Thank you so much.
Slides, I can navigate you to the file.
Absolutely.
It's file dated today,
Okay. So it's dated today.
2025, 10/16.
Here, let me search for it. Look at that. Sorry,
NEAC
got it here.
slides. Yeah.
There should be the numbers.
If you scroll down.
No, so that's actually correct. It should be the first one. 2025 slides of nearest area commission.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right, okay, you on?
Great. We have a few people with us tonight. My name's Aaron Wasserman. I'm with Homeport for Columbus Housing Partnership Inc., which is the applicant. Sheldon Johnson's with Partners for Community Achieving Transformation. There's an architect here, Carrie Sherrill, who's sitting behind me, and he'll come up too. And Sheldon can start us. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for having us. Everyone, as Aaron said, my name is Sheldon Johnson, the Executive Director of PAC. We are the owners of the former Pilgrim Elementary School site. And so we're here to introduce the first development partner from our request for expression of interest process that we did last year. The solicitation process where we sent out our real estate portfolio on Taylor Avenue to a number of developers. This project from Homeport was one of those applicants. So excited to have this application from Homeport. We received a lot of positive feedback about it throughout the process. They were the only applicant that was focused on adaptive reuse of the former school building, which we heard was very important throughout the process. They were the only applicant to also suggest mixed income and mixed use at the site, something else that we received some positive feedback for. So very happy about, this potential partnership with Homeport. I think we have a known entity that cares about community engagement, cares about this neighborhood. So I'll defer to Aaron to talk about the project itself.
Sure. You can go to the next slide, please.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Sheldon was referencing, the process that happened or that PACT has led There were community hearings last winter and this spring that PACT hosted. Homeport presented at one of them with the proposal that PACT selected in the summer. You can keep going to the next slide, please. This is my first time in front of this commission. I think it's been a while since Homeport has proposed a development in the Near East Area Commission's footprint. If you're not familiar, Homeport is a nonprofit organization that generally develops affordable housing throughout Columbus and Franklin County. I'd say the most recent work that's been done in your footprint is north of Broad. There were about 64 single-family homes built and sold from between 10 and 15 years ago in the King Lincoln neighborhood. Also on the right there is an image of a recently finished development of ours, McDowell Place in the Franklinton neighborhood, which had a similar, at least in my opinion, purpose, redeveloping a vacant site or an underused site that had been vacant or underused for about 20 years. In one of Homeport, in one of Columbus's urban neighborhoods. This is in Franklinton. You can keep going to the next slide, please. And Homeport develops affordable housing both for sale and for rent, and we own and manage these properties. We offer home buyer education programs. We offer service coordination for residents. If it's okay, I heard the alarm going, but I'll
Continue,
keep
please,
going
yes.
if that's okay. And you can keep going down to the next slide. Here, we'll come up here whenever you like. We're proposing essentially 2 developments. We've submitted one zoning application for variances, and we can get into those in a few minutes. For essentially to have 2 developments happen at the property. One is to reuse or preserve the existing school building for a mix of residential and commercial uses. And then the second is to build new rental housing on the land behind the school building. We think this is, an important project in a few different ways. One, to preserve a historic asset, a historic building in the neighborhood. 2, to introduce, housing of a mix of incomes. We can get into a little more detail about what that means if people are interested. To offer neighborhood commercial opportunities, and also we think to improve the streetscape or the pedestrian experience on this block of Taylor Avenue. I'm guessing most people are very familiar with the site, but again, we're at the corner of Taylor and Harvard, and Emerald to the north. Thank you, and that essentially across the street from the outpatient Wexner. Yeah, I think everyone knows.
Yeah.
Would you please review the variances you're requesting?
Sure, I can talk about variances, and then it might be helpful to get into some of the details about the program too. We have, and it's fine if you stay at this slide for a bit. Yeah. The second of the 2 developments I mentioned, the new construction project, is something that we plan to finance or want to finance with what's called low-income housing tax credits, which is the major financing tool used for affordable housing. And so we have filed a use variance for city council approval to allow for the mix of uses, multifamily, residential, and commercial use in this district. It's the R3 district. We've also requested a parking variance. We can get into more detail about the parking ratios that we're proposing here. But similar to what Homeport has done in terms of working with the City of Columbus and other area commissions in the past, and I think what your area commission has experienced with perhaps some other developers in your footprint, usually the city adopts like what they call a 2-step process for these projects, where Homeport is planning to apply to the State Housing Finance Agency in February 2026 to finance the new construction development. That requires at least a use variance to demonstrate that the land use is allowed, and then we would return if that application for financing is approved for final.
Please describe the project now. We really need to know the nuts and bolts of.
Sure,
the
sorry, I was,
variance of what
yeah,
you're
yeah,
looking for.
I'm glad, yeah. So the first phase, or the first project is reusing the building, with, and if you could go down to the floor plans, I'll let Carrick take over and talk about different, the different, floor plans and
Yeah,
locations that we have.
this one's a good one.
Okay.
So this is the first floor of the existing building, right? The pink area in the bottom left corner is the side that faces Taylor. That is, at least currently designated for, neighborhood commercial use. Probably will be divided into 1 or 2, potentially 3 spaces. A mix of uses. We're thinking very light. If there's any food service, it's a coffee shop or an ice cream shop. Maybe sandwiches, but there is no intention here to have a regional style restaurant or anything like that. The green in the middle, that is the current gymnasium. It's currently a 2-story volume, and one of the things that we're looking for community feedback on the best way to use. I know when we were at Woodland Park, we spoke with a couple of residents there that were talking about ideas of how they would like to see a space like that used, and things like that. So there's a good section of that, and then other portions of this first floor, as we get closer to Parkland on the east side of the block, are intended for residential units, and then the top left corner is like administrative space for the whole project. Like a leasing office, things like that that'll be needed. So if you go back up to the site plan just briefly, yeah, just zoom in on the right there, and maybe zoom into the part that is adjacent. Yep, there you go. So what we proposed here, along the perimeter of the commercial space, is kind of a outdoor plaza that helps get folks from the parking area that we've placed in the middle of the site to the commercial spaces, but also could serve as outdoor community space. I mean, imagine if there's a need or a use for in the summer, spring, and fall, a farmer's market, or something like that, something that's very community engaging, things like that. So that's kind of what we imagined in that
Area A, I think you're referring to.
yeah, it's kind of all between the steps that come up to the entrance here, all the way kind of down past where the existing gas house is. One of the things that we were looking at when we were laying out this site was to maintain kind of a line of presence that was likely originally a through street, just by the alignment. So we wanted to maintain a pedestrian connection so that folks can traverse the site in that zone that would be kind of more historically way you would be approaching the site east-west direction. We wanted to add a good bit of greening opportunities there. I mean, obviously there's a lot of pavement that will need parking, but the proposal is to have a good number of trees in that zone as well. Help soften the effect of parking on the potential residents and users of the space.
So let's zoom out on the site plan here real quick. Let me just so you can see that we've got the 5 residential buildings here. One of the things that we learned recently is that there is both a storm and sanitary sewer that are underground, that are aligned with the alleys on both sides of the block. So we had to kind of reorganize our buildings a little bit fairly recently to allow for a 20-foot zone where those sewer lines are going to be maintained. There's also one actually going north and south through the site and under the existing building, which the utility department said they will let us keep that one there.
Yeah, it's probably in good shape.
But we can't build any new buildings over the others. So so we've got four townhome buildings that are set up in a first floor flat, and then above the first floor flat is a 2-story townhome. So it generally lays out like a 3-story townhome, but it's kind of a 2-stack for those 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings, and then we have a 3-story walk up here, all flats that are the kind of in between the one town corner and the existing building. One of the things that you know, I was working on here with these elevations was just, you know, getting that activity on the street, front porches. I know we've talked about that in this area commission many times. So that's one of the things that I'm working on here. The first floor dwelling units, the way they're laying out, they don't really have back doors. So all the parking in the center, anyone parking there is still going to have to come like equally around the front of the building to access their units. So in the typical kind of community engagement type of fashions, like we're trying to get people out of their cars, experience the site, and potential interactions with their neighbors, etc. So that's that building, and then I think the next is this is the walk-up building. I actually worked on this a little bit more after I sent this elevation over to Aaron, but the idea behind the pitched roofs was really to, you know, kind of keep the residential character of the neighborhood. I kind of struggled with, does this want to be residential like the neighborhood, or does it want to be institutional like the school? And I really felt like, you know, this archetype was kind of the most appropriate, the most open and flexible for this type of use. One thing that I was focusing on though was, and we don't have it in this package, but the eave line of these buildings actually aligns with the parapet of the Pilgrim School. So just trying to make sure that the mass of this building isn't so overwhelming to the Pilgrim School that it seems out of character, out of place. I think that's all I have to say. I might have more after you ask my questions.
I don't think I'm gonna be asking other questions.
All right, questions from the planning committee. I'll start out. The first question I had was, as I remember the school itself, and I think I saw it on the street view, is that it has wings coming out the back. Are you filling in between?
Generally, no. There's
Do we have the second floor plan in this package?
We do, yeah. If you go, I think if you go down one
Yeah,
more, there it is.
that one. So, so this section here is actually the volume of the gymnasium. You can see that we haven't really modified the building yet in terms of the plan. When you go to the site, you can see all this mechanical equipment, plenums stuff on the low roof that's in between. So what you're talking about, the wings here, we've got this wing, and then the volume of the gymnasium. So we are proposing 2 additional units that would be kind of on the roof of what would be just what's currently 1-story space.
Right.
But we are not filling in the entire roof area. You'll still be able to, feel the original mass.
Okay, thank you. Any other planning questions? Ms.
I just wanna make probably a comment that might convert to a question. And in that is the need for you to clarify, because I might have something wrong, so I'm gonna say right away, I have that my fast. Count that as my age, right? I know a while back, we, as a community within Park, signed a petition where we wanted to make sure that green space would be preserved. We never heard anything back. So I wanna see if that's still potentially on the table, that we could be a part of that discussion and even look deeper into seeing how that can be modified so that really happens.
So there's a conversation, and I did attend, one of the Woodland Park Neighborhood Association meetings where some members of the community requested that PACT as the landowner, provide whoever we work with to maintain part of the green space.
Yes.
What I explained to the committee is that I did not think that was feasible to make that a requirement, and that instead I think it would be better to kind of engage with the development partner about what the green space looks like. The reason for that is what I heard, even before we did the REI process, just in communication with community members, that it was very important to maintain the building. And really there were kind of 2 ways to maintain the building. One is to do something market rate where the rents could, pay for the price of renovating the building, or to pay for it with a low income housing tax credit. That's what Homeport is proposing. So as part of the low income housing tax credit, just revitalizing that building didn't feel like it scored well on what OFA calls the qualified allocation plan to get tax credits. There needed to be some additional building on that in the field to be able to get the tax credit. So I felt like if we were to make that requirement about the green space, that would hinder the ability to keep the building standing. And it felt to me that the consistent feedback that I was getting from community members is that it was important to maintain the existing.
That's a priority, you said. And then, okay, is there ever a possibility that we could go back and even look at doing some green space or something? Or should we pick up a conversation with the developers later? What's your recommendation?
Sure. I think we are, Homeport is glad to talk with you and the commission and the neighbor association about how to design some of the spaces that we've been mentioning here in terms of like the outdoor patio or plaza, or the landscaping and walkways around the area. We haven't set aside a quarter acre or something of that scale for a park here. That would be hard to do and also make a development like this financially feasible. But yes, we're open to talking with you about ways to incorporate different design details that people would prefer.
If I may say just a little more to that, I mean, as you all may remember, there are a number of sites that, PAC owns on
Yes.
the Taylor Avenue corridor. There's a site on the southwest corner of Atchison and Taylor that we were looking at building duplexes on. We're now exploring that as, maintaining that as some type of green space in response to the feedback. That's obviously not the same thing as the field at the Thornton School. I do understand that. But because of, the feedback that we heard, about wanting to see some additional green space, that's something that's not on the site, but it is right across Taylor Avenue from the site. And that's something we're exploring to be able to, maintain some of the green space on the corridor.
I appreciate just even the commitment to consider. But can I just offer one fun fact here? That I remember when Pat, over 20 years ago, did the drawings and started first telling us about Taylor Avenue and how they were going to reimagine that. And the actual Taylor Avenue is going to be converted or transformed into like a boulevard. And I wish, but y'all threw that out the door, so I'm gonna leave it alone. Fun fact. Show you how long I've been dealing with back in Taylor Avenue. There was gonna be a boulevard, and I thought, what? Yep. So we lost that, but that's okay. I'll take the green any day. Thank you, I yield, and I'm finished.
Commissioner Benson?
Yeah, mine will just be a very quick comment. We very much appreciate the design incorporating the mixed uses in there with the townhomes and the different living types or housing types. I think that's really cool. I was actually at some of the PACT events with the different REIs for all of the projects, including the Lemon Pharmacy as a pharmacist. It was nice to learn about the history of the Lemon Pharmacy building down the street from there. So I'm excited to see what you all, if you get someone that's going to transform that building. I remember seeing some ideas from some of the folks in the room. So those are really cool. Love to see that, but very much enjoying what you're doing there and would like to see that continued conversation about what that green space does look like, although it won't stay in its totality, but that there will be some green space design that the Woodland Park Neighborhood Association will have feedback on.
Thank you. I would like to suggest, there's that corridor between the school and the five buildings you're putting up. It would be nice if you would make that corridor inviting to the community. That you could actually use it as a walkway to connect from, Parkwood over to Taylor. And that would, I think, providing that kind of invitation to the community to stroll that space, I think would be very helpful in terms of integrating this particular project into the community.
Yeah, I think as we're scrolling there, I think that's our design intent. I think
There's that walkway. This means me.
Yeah, no, that is fully the intent of kind of this zone right here, and making sure that we keep it not just all hard surfaces, but trees, and this very clear pathway that goes through the site is really intended to create that invitation to experience the site, and the location of it being kind of in between what will be very clearly residential dwelling units and then a quasi kind of mixed use commercial use, creates that semi-public private interstitial space that is going to, I think, in my mind, make people feel comfortable to be able to use it. I think the difficulty that we run into with other green spaces when they're smaller in scale, it's difficult for a lay person to understand whether that type of space is someone's front yard, someone's side yard, or whether it's public space. So I think that as this gets developed, the design intent certainly behind it is created as a public way.
So you have the road in between where the cars will access the parking lot.
So the parking lot entry is down here.
Oh, okay,
with,
okay.
I've Rosewood? Is that?
Pembroke.
Yeah. So that's the vehicular entrance, and then the pedestrian crossing is another 40 feet.
Thank you,
North
thank you,
of that.
thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
Any other planning comments? Commissioner Lowenstein?
Thank you. In the interest of complete transparency, until a year and a half ago, I did a lot of work with Homeport for 8 years. But I have no business relationship with Homeport right now, so just so you understand. Otherwise, I would recuse myself. So I like the architecture as always. Thank you for that. I think that those are very attractive looking buildings that are being proposed. But I'm troubled by the green space issue as well. And it's you know, when you look at the existing site slide that's up there, a fair amount of this land is green now. And we've really tried to discourage the loss of green space, and particularly here since this was playground space for children. So now we're going to put 70 affordable housing units on the site, and we're really going to have very, very little green space on the south 60% or so of the site. And so it raises, aside from the philosophical question of, you know, the loss of, you know, we're going to have all this additional water runoff and all that. And of course, I know the city will require stormwater retainage under the parking lot and all that, but at the same time, we're really losing green space. So I appreciate the efforts to put in some extra trees, soften the site. I get it, but I've got a few issues with this. Where are the children going to play outside? And so answer this first, if you would. What's the unit composition proposed for those 70 units?
Sure, yeah, so, we have 70 units in these 5 buildings.
Yeah.
We proposed 23 in the school building. But double check my numbers here. Let's see, here we are, yeah. We proposed, so we have right now, we have 31 bedroom, 26 2-bedroom, and 14 3-bedroom.
14 threes, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's gonna be, you know, there's gonna be 30, 40 kids here potentially. Right? And I just am a little concerned about, you know, most of those are gonna be young children, at least teenagers for sure, and we don't have to worry about outdoor places for the teenagers to play. But for the younger kids, I think we do. And I just don't know what the answer is there about, I don't see a playground proposed, and I don't see small spaces right next to the buildings either. They're very small. They're so small that they're gonna be graded so the stormwater runs off the right place, and it's just like, so I'm just not sure that plan really works to get 70 units on that portion of the site. I noticed, you know, you were here for that when the city was making its presentation. I looked at the map knowing this case was going to come up tonight. The city shows that site being changed in its zoning. The city planner's perspective is they'd be cool with taller buildings than 3 stories. So I'm just wondering whether it would make more sense for you to take 2 of those buildings and turn them into one higher building, even without losing units. And I do understand, of course, why you want to get 70 units in there. 70 is pretty much a magic number for maximizing the use of the housing credit that they're gonna be applying for in February. And as you all know, I'm in the same field, so I understand that. So I understand why they wanted to get to 70, but I just think limiting yourself to 3-story buildings, I'm not sure the site really quite works, no matter how good the architecture is built, simply because of the land being limited in its size. I think your parking is fine, you know, for that number, but it's just eating up all of the interior part of the site, and boy, would I love it if some of that could gets there. Because really, when you've created a kind of a court with these buildings, and like, there'd be a natural affinity for kids to go want to play in the middle if there was an open space there. But you either would have to cut the number of units in the project, or you'd have to go to an elevator building, you know, which I don't think we necessarily have too much trouble with if one of the buildings was higher.
So, yeah,
It's just an alternative for you to consider. I just throw that.
So I'd say maybe between now and the, you know, the site visit that happened in early November, so we can consider, you know, different alternates like that in terms of, you know, having heard that from a couple of commissioners about height versus, you know, height and space in that trade-off.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, this has a lot in favor of it. I think using the school, adaptive reuse of the school is great. And the mixed income component of it too is nice. I mean, I think those are all things that we like. It's just this one issue is trouble.
Yes. One of the things that was brought up from a couple of the members of the New Park Neighborhood Association was potentially relocating some of the parking to be head-in parking off of Emerald. Currently, the street is kind of set up for buses to be able to pull off.
Which is Emerald? I'm sorry.
It's the street to the north. Yeah, if you pull the site down a little
Could
bit.
you pull it up on the Google?
Sure, I know what you think.
It's the northern edge of the site.
It is on the north side of the site.
Okay.
Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, so like you can actually see the line work a little bit. There's kind of what appears to either be a bus pull off or parallel parking or something like that, but you know.
There's like a recess there. Did I see that?
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So I guess kind of what I'm getting at is what is the temperature of folks to, I mean, if I could relocate an entire row of parking from the center court to be head in up here, then it does kind of create some more flexibility. You know, plus maybe you know, a reduction or an increase of the parking variance, and maybe we can get rid of an entire bay of parking. Those are the things that you know, we need to find a balance for. And so I guess one of the things I'm asking is, what is the temperature of the commission on head-in parking off of Emerald? I don't know.
So Emerald is a street, it's not an alley, or?
Emerald is the street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the city isn't gonna be keen on
No,
that.
they aren't.
But maybe they,
If I can convince them.
So where's the commercial part?
The commercial component on this site is right in here. Which could lend itself to parking off, but.
yeah, that
Well,
may be,
and
that
considering
maybe
there's
is a good
already
idea,
kind of parking
because
there.
then, if you go back to pull up the site a little.
Downward.
Yeah, make it a little bigger. If you make it a
Oh,
little
you mean the
bigger,
other way.
and go up a little, please. No, I'm sorry.
Other way.
went down.
Okay, it's difficult, I get
Yeah,
it.
so if we if we put some parking in on the north side, you know what, that lawn is the only substantial green space on the site, really. But it doesn't lend itself to using it very effectively, I'm thinking. So if that was narrowed with parking, and instead the area at the south end, kind of from up to the ends of those buildings going north, the north ends of those two buildings. If you took out that parking and just had the road, the drive aisle there, and you were left with, or I mean, 2, 3, 4, 5, you'd have about
I mean, I could
60 or 70 feet by
Yeah, I could
100.
get rid of 12 parking spaces, 3 on each bay, and push this up 27 feet, so you'd have a good 50-foot zone behind that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a really good use of that area, because then you'd have some green at the north end, not as much, and then you'd have some at the south end, and it could be, even if it was just mostly an open field, I think people would feel better about the green, maintaining some green space. So, you know me, I'm gonna throw out ideas about a site, but that to me would look like an upgrade to it, so you might wanna look hard at that. Or the other alternative of pulling out a building entirely and going more vertical with it. Or both, I suppose. You really do like your
The
east
same
west.
plan that talks about 5 to 7 story buildings also talks about 48 units an acre.
I know. Well, how do you get to 40? I know. I like. Oh my God.
You'd have to have several 7-story buildings
I
on
know.
that site.
I'm not suggesting you go there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying to get to 70, which I understand is a meaningful number. You got a couple of choices without. The other concern I had is this: the 476 Taylor, directly to the north of this. So people have varying opinions about that. No, we're not here to discuss 476 Taylor, but it's a challenging building to get to like. Simply because of how close it is to the street. And the first floor units on that. And people have varying opinions about it. Okay, some people like it just fine. Okay, I'm not one of them. But the point I'm making is what's difficult about that is that Taylor's a busy street.
Yes, it is.
Right? There's a lot of traffic on Taylor due to the medical center, the hospital, a little further down, the high school, the library. You got all of that in that corridor, and you got all the traffic coming off 670 to come into the neighborhood. You take Leonard, you turn down Taylor. A lot of traffic here. Having residential units that close to the street is, I mean, it's not ideal. And so that's my other concern. Are the buildings you're proposing that border Taylor, are they as close to the street as 476?
No. They have deeper porches. I've been working through that. The intent was to have the front of the porches be more aligned with the rest of the building to the north. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure what you just said.
So the building line of 476, right?
It's very close. There's further.
Would be the face of the porches. So like the meat of the building would be then 6 feet behind that.
So it's a little further, it's a little bit, I'm just pointing this out because, you know, they keep trying to rent up units in that building. I'm not sure that it's working as well as they would have liked. And some of it may be the resistance of people to live in long-term that close to the street. I don't know, that could be nonsense, but anything that can be done to pull, I don't think you have that problem on the other side. But on the Taylor side,
The dwelling units in that building are,
huh?
the dwelling units in that building are.
Well, that may contribute as well, but that was an issue with that problem.
Yeah. May I make a comment for context?
Yeah.
For context, we took a site visit with several neighbors and commissioners to that specific 470 Taylor, and we stood right along these porches and could feel the very narrow distance to the street. You could feel the traffic coming across, and there were some safety concerns about the elevation here, that a car could very easily go over that hill into what would be those porches there. And we saw no one use those porches there, most likely for that reason. So there's context for why he's bringing this up. And I know folks are like, maybe I don't see it. When you go there physically, you can feel it and see it.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go on and on so much. You covered a lot. Back to you.
Okay, any community comments? And then you, okay? Thank you.
So, my name is Scott Kaplan. Most of you know me. I'm a professor at OSU, and I'm vice president of the Woodland Park Neighborhood Association. The site visit that you were just talking about, me and my son scootered by.
Yes,
I have. I see Casey. I was at the Latitude 254 Zoom meeting with you. I'm an active member of this community. I have come before this commission previously because I value what this commission does. And I think what we just heard in this, I think helps to solidify the value of this and community engagement in serving as an intermediary between the community and development. Because the things that were just said in a few-minute oversight of what was viewed on this proposal wasn't done by Partnership for Creating Community Transformation and all of the other entities that were supposed to be coming to us and listening to the community. Ms. Pam mentioned that I went out into the community and I solicited 50 individual signatures from community members.
You have 5 minutes, by the way.
Who were directly opposed to this. It wasn't theoretical. I put the plan in front of them and asked people if that's what they felt comfortable with, and they said that they did not. The problems were they came to us on Monday, and that was their first point of community engagement. And when we talked about things like setting aside green space, exactly what was mentioned. We were set aside, we were not return visited, we were not heard at all. And I think all of us who have been in development things can go through this site plan and see when you're being told the truth and when maybe you're not. Can we scroll up just a little bit? Or the other way? Or down? Yeah, so I want to look down. So if you go down just a little bit, you can see the sight line of just a little bit. Here's where the school ends, right? And this is what, if you go back there, you can see that they were talking about, we're gonna have like a food fair here in this space that's sloped, and this space, that's the green space that they're talking about that we can utilize. Here is where they're proposing it. It's exactly where that other project is. So the long pregnant pauses where they say, would you consider creating some green space, and they go, we're talking to the community, and they pause and they come back with some comments. They're not being forthright. They're not engaging the community in a truthful and honest way. And I think that has been the problem. They come from outside of our community and they tell us that they're going to redevelop our community, that they know better than us, and they don't need to listen to us. And exactly the question, where are the kids going to play? Because we set this site up and we identified what we would like to have. And what they've done is they've taken the green space and, like the old song, they tore it down and they put up a parking lot. And I made this comment to them on Monday and they laughed about it, because that's exactly the question. We have kids in the neighborhood right now that use that space to play and have done so historically. The president of the neighborhood association grew up playing in that playground. And when we say there's no other green space, then Sheldon comes and says, well, actually, we'll do it across the street in a different neighborhood on a really populated corner in an area about the size of this room. And that will be the green space that we offer you instead. And they talk about this causeway, like this is going to be the meandering walkway that's the thickness of a parking spot, that goes from Taylor down to an area in the middle of like an alleyway. They're not engaging with us, honestly. They are telling us because they're the moneyed interest, what they're going to impose to the community, not what they're going to give. I want to bifurcate this. The revitalization of this is great. I have no issue with it. If they want to take this building and put mixed use in it, and if they want to put, economic incentive housing in it, I am 100% for them. I will stand with them to do that. This is an abruptive imposition into our neighborhood that takes from us and gives us nothing. It gives them money in their pockets. All it does is take from us. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Sir, you're next.
My name is Robert Ferris. I'm a longtime resident of over 60 years in this community. Former a former member of the New York Side Commission 40-some years ago. My concern is that I'm looking at my neighborhood, and I've got, by the way, I own the house across the street where you want to put angle parking. I have a hard enough time parking. I'm concerned about the number of residents that we're putting in, condensing people. We've got the one on 476, you got 43 units in there. Now you're gonna have 70 plus over here. And by the way, nobody's talking about the development coming up on Maryland Avenue, where you got 80-some people, 80-some units down there. Have you ever been there in the morning, see all the Amazon trucks? Where do you think they come out at? Taylor Avenue. Where do you think these people are gonna come out at? They're not gonna come out at Pembroke. That's a joke. They're gonna come out on Taylor Avenue. That's just creating a lot of congestion in the neighborhood, and I don't think it's feasible. I don't know what you want to develop at the school. I love the building. I love the neighborhood. Obviously, not obvious to you, but we've raised our children in this neighborhood, and I've been involved in the neighborhood. And your announcements about this site, I have no idea why I was never notified. Never got a notification. The only notification I got was the sign in the yard, and I had to call 6 numbers at the city to find out what was going on today. They finally got back to me, and I happened to look up your mission and saw you're having this meeting tonight. That's why I'm late. But I'm not in favor of this. 476, I agree with the gentleman. It looks like crap to me. I mean, I don't know how anybody can sit on their porch there. I really don't. And having 70 units, by the way, you're going to develop a commercial interest. Where are your customers going to park? Are they going to park in front of my house now? Because people already on that street are. If you go down Parkwood, you'll see that some people have to park halfway on the boulevard and have their tires on the street. Why? Because they're afraid of their cars getting hit. So what are you going to do? And the gravel that you see next to my house, the city didn't put that there. I put that there so I could park. So I mean, I'm not in agreement with the number of residents there is just overpopulating. You're going to create bottleneck right there at Maryland and Taylor Avenue. Now, look across the street at the old mansion. What's gonna be proposed there someday? Probably more parking. So where are they gonna come out at? Green space? We're not gonna have any green space. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other community comments? Anything you'd like to say before we go to vote?
I just want to summarize that my mom always told me that I should be clear about what I'm asking for. And I'm asking for a no vote for it. And I just wanted to submit the petition that I had supported to Pat.
Okay.
That outlined exactly what we were hoping for. I think that it's pretty clear that this is not something the community wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so thank you all. Thank you for, your comments, and, Scott, thank you for sharing your comments again. I mean, to Scott's point, he and I have had, conversations one-on-one about this, and I appreciate a community member coming and sharing their perspective. Like I said, when I talked to the Woodland Neighborhood Association, our role as PACT, I think, is to create the opportunity for conversation. And, I think that Homeport is the type of partner that they're willing to make changes. They've already made some changes to this. And I think even, some of the conversation that came tonight, there's opportunity for further changes. My hesitation was around making some, particular requirements before this was able to happen. Scott and I talked about it, one-on-one a couple times, that, there's some things that you and I, see differently. And that's okay, right? I'm happy to, be held accountable to things that you like and don't like. But the two things that I will note is, it's not accurate to say that Homeport's first engagement with the community was on Monday night. Throughout the process that we had last year, we started with a review committee. There were 7 people. 5 of them were residents of the Near East Side. One of them was the former president of the Woodland Park Neighborhood Association. We did the community meetings. We had the gallery walk that was open for a week. Clearly there were some residents that we, didn't get the opportunity to engage with. And I apologize. This is the first thing that you said. And I'm not just saying that I'm not perfect, and I'm sorry that we had to have the opportunity to do that. But there are things that missed the mark in terms of our community engagement. We weren't able to outreach with everyone, but we had 100 people at our community meeting. We had 80 people that came to the gallery walk. We had multiple meetings at NEAC with Woodland Park, with the Bronzeville Neighborhood Association. So we tried to design a process that incorporated some level of community engagement. Homeport knows that as part of engaging with us, that's something they will need to continue to do. This request for variances is the beginning and continuation of a conversation. It's not to say that, it's something that is going to be final. So I hope and expect that there's going to continue to be conversation in community. But that did not just start this week.
Thank you. Great. So I want to.
One final comment, just.
No, I'm sorry. We are done. So I wanted to express the opinion that we, as a planning committee, we are not voting on variances. We are voting on the overall project. So we do. Zoning votes on the variances. So what I would like now is a motion to approve the project. Why don't you make the motion, and then you can comment after the motion is made.
Yeah,
Please make the motion so we can have discussion afterwards.
okay. My motion is to table the project for further discussion with the community and community members on the feedback that was given tonight. So moved. Yes.
It has been moved by Commissioner Benson to table the project. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to table the project. Comments from the committee, please. Hearing no comments, it's time to take vote. All those in favor?
Before you vote on that motion, I want to point out the timeframes that Homeport is operating under to get this to council. Now, if it's pushed back a month, it could still get done, but I do want to point out they're operating under a different set of restrictions than the average developer would, because the project has to be submitted on a date in February, and council has to have approved the variances. Now, I'm not presupposing approved, I'm just saying if they are gonna submit this to do this project as proposed, or as some version of it even, you know, they would have to get this to council for a vote at the beginning of February at the latest. So that we could push back a month and they could still get it done. I just want to know, but I mean, there is a limit to that.
That is helpful information.
Time.
Okay.
I was not aware of that.
I just wanted you to know that.
So in respect to the motion to table, I would prefer we not table it, but to go ahead and have a vote on approval and let the conversation that has started tonight about green space continue to develop between the developer and the community, and, you know, see what happens. Because it eventually is gonna get to the general body, and the general body is gonna have the same issues with the lack of green space. And so I'm anticipating there will be some movement on developing some part of this particular property in green space, especially for kids to play. I mean, I think that is just a generally a huge oversight on the part of the developer not having green space for kids to play in. So I'd like to go ahead and take a vote unless there are more comments.
On which motion, Chair?
That's the motion you made.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Then I will make a comment quickly that I'm in agreement with the chair and will be voting down my own motion so that we can entertain the second motion. Can I withdraw it after a
Yes,
second
you
counter
can.
motion has
Withdraw
been?
it.
Then Chair, I will withdraw my
He's gonna
motion.
withdraw his
All right,
motion.
so is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Benson.
Seconded by Shields. All those in favor of the motion to approve, raise your hands. One. All those opposed?
We have two opposed.
Two, okay, two. I'm sorry, I'm typing and talking, and it doesn't work. Those opposed? Two. So it's 2-2.
All right, well, it will move forward through our process. And there's a lot of postcards here, so if you haven't been, you heard the description to the prior applicant, so you probably aren't gonna wanna stick around tonight and do this, but fill out the cards. I would say the other case which is set for 9, it's at the other end of the neighborhood, 5 minutes with travel, maybe 9:25. Let's do 9:25 on the 8th. Okay? And if you have questions about how the cards should be filled out, feel free to reach out. But
Make a motion.
you need to bring these back and get them to Mr. O'Reilly by Tuesday. And
9:25 on the 8th.
9:25 on the 8th.
All right.
And when you come to that, have handouts too, because we don't really have the ability to do it digitally. So have site plan. You don't have to have floor plans of the units, that's all right, but some elevations of the new buildings and a good sized site plan would be good handouts for everyone. Okay?
All right, there is no further business. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Benson. Oh, I'd like to clarify.
Go ahead.
I know that we can clarify facility.
Yes, I wanted to say that I wanted to oppose it.
Which you voted yes. To approve, okay.
Comments. For the record.
For the record. For the
Yes,
record.
okay, all right, thanks.
It's giving me a headache.
I'm so sorry, it's my fault actually, I have to apologize.
Yeah, the vouchers at 3.
Yes, 3. Well, it would have been 4. I was also confused.
You were voting it down as well?
Yes, but I wanted to move.
Unanimous again. so
Yes,
it ended
but
up
to
being
clarify, I wanted to move the
a
process
split
along.
2-2.
We will clarify, I promise. in the record.
Poindexter, you still have time for me tonight?
I'm so sorry.
Okay, sorry.
We have 15 minutes. My apologies.
Attention, please, we are not done, we have a
I'll
conceptual
take that.
review.
Yes. It's okay, I don't believe the motion was properly seconded and approved.
No, it wasn't. Everybody please sit down.
If you would like to stay.
If you would like to stay, no obligation.
No, we are not adjourned, we have one more.
Everyone, meeting is not over, so if you want, if any discussion, the commissioners have to back here.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. You asked that I bring 4 copies, which I did.
Yes. And did you bring this?
Oh, this is Poindexter Village, I'm so sorry.
Poindexter Village.
Yes. Sorry, the first slide is exactly like a previous presentation.
Can you go to the other,
Presentation?
the PowerPoint?
Yes,
Yeah, I wanna,
absolutely.
We have paper copies if anybody
Should be
wants.
coming up now. Oh, it's a PowerPoint, give it to me. I will pull it up in there. It is. Perfect. Sorry, it's, oh god. Alright. Go.
it looks like it right there.
I don't know that.
I apologize again
Quite all right, it's
for.
been a long night.
Yeah, I think we all got a headache.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So we all got a headache.
So I'm gonna give a 2-second introduction before I
Yes.
let Ms. Tyson take over here for a couple of minutes. I'm Jay Boone with Moody and Nolan Architects.
Okay.
And first of all, appreciate the opportunity to get a conceptual review and kind of courtesy bring everybody here up to speed because this is a very important project in the Near East community. I've been doing work actually in the Near East community for 30-ish years at Moody and Nolan. So we're kind of at the beginning of the Poindexter Village African American Museum. Ms. Tyson, if you want to give a little bit of introduction, and then I'm going to jump into the plans and the elevations and everything else.
I'm happy to. So first of all, I want to say thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. And before I even move into this, I just want to say it was interesting. It was a pleasure to be able to be in this room. I used to chair zoning for the city of Columbus. So I absolutely know the zoning process. I know, hearing it back and forth and listening to this planning committee and the zoning committee. And I'm listening to everyone's comments, and so it was very interesting being here tonight. I'll leave it at that. With the experience that I've had over 15 years of listening to people coming, the developer and the residents coming to council to try to work out new development in our community. But I'm very excited to be here. As a retired member of Columbus City Council, I had the opportunity to be able to work on to be able to be a part of the Poindexter Village. I'm gonna step back a second. So in around 2013, the Poindexter, as we knew it, was demolished. And it was demolished for the purposes of we got also about how you renovate a community. So this beautiful community we live in today, and I'm born and raised in Columbus, so I know this community very well, and that area very well. But in 2013, it was a decision that with the changes in renovation of the Near East Side, that we were able to get a choice grant from the federal government. The city also put $34 million in it to renovate what you now see on the Champion, the senior apartments, looking at the other CMHA apartments. So all that renovation was part of PAC to be able to develop that community. At that time, when there were 35 buildings that were Poindexter Village, 33 of those buildings were demolished. And then 2 buildings were saved. And those two buildings that were saved, they were saved because there was community activism coming to city council saying we want this to be a museum. Based upon, I'm gonna talk fast and try and get to that part. But, so based upon that, those two buildings were saved, and they were saved with the understanding that they would become a museum, and the organization that was responsible for making them a museum was Ohio History Connection. And so Anthony Gibbs is here from Ohio History Connection. My role in all of this is that the city has hired me as a consultant in 2023 to make sure, as I understand the project, to make sure that this project moves forward and we're gonna have a museum. And even when I was on council, we made sure we put in $2.5 million, close to that, into making sure to stabilize the buildings and then to get to the buildings to where they happen to be today. So fast forward, now I've been visiting museums across the country. I've been working with OHC, and we are now at the place where we're moving forward, and now we have Moody Nolan is now the architect this project was, of course, bid it out. Moody Nolan, they now are responsible for the project, so he will share where we're at. We're also working on the fundraising for the project. We're really moving that forward. The goal is for the museum to open in February of 2028, and you'll be getting shovels in the ground if all this goes right. If all this happens, then, later in 2026. And now I'm gonna turn it over to, you wanna say hey, Anthony Gibbs?
I don't want to take too much time, but yeah, I'll just introduce myself. Anthony Gibbs from the Ohio History Connection. I am a development officer, so my job has been working hand in hand with Priscilla and our full team on raising funds. And things are moving really, really quickly. We've talked to many people in planning. We've got lots of support around the community. There are many people who love to see this happen. And so we're really excited that we're at the stage, and we're hoping for the ground break in spring. So that's sort of the time frame that we're on. Perfect. Thanks for allowing us to be here.
I'll stand up talking here, so if you can go to the next slide. Absolutely. I just want to kind of give everybody an overview of where we are. Yeah. Site plan. Champions, Randville here, and this is the Union Grove Church. These are the two remaining buildings. The overall complex that was destroyed, 30-some buildings, was down in this slotch down through here several years ago. So there's a couple things we're doing. We are restoring, this is all got pitched roofs on it now. We are going to restore the existing two buildings that had originally flat roofs at the corners. The main piece of all this, you'll see in a second, is the connectivity between the two. In addition to the connectivity, there's a major courtyard in the back, and then this is all remaining green space down on the east side here. I will get to some variances that we're going to propose at the next meeting, but I just wanted you to be aware of them, and it has to do with parking. There has, per both the OHC team and Ms. Tyson, there's been a tremendous amount of community involvement from OHC, not only with the church, but with the group at large. So next slide.
It's a little slow, but I gotta go back one more. Give it just a second if it'll.
I know this thing is jumpy today.
Yeah.
So again, Champion is down here. This is Granville here.
There we go.
Granville here.
And it's doing something.
Existing.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Literally just, I should come back and however long it takes to go back. There it goes. Okay.
This is more of the exhibit space down through here. This is going to be conferencing and meeting spaces up here. What we're planning on doing is replicating 3 different areas from the 40s apartments to the 70s to current, not current, but 90-ish apartments up through here, replicating in appliances and finishes and everything else. And then this is generally exhibit space down through here. This is the connector that I was talking about with the front desk reception area
shop for merchandise, and then this is actually a booth over here, but regardless, there's stairs and an elevator up to the second floor.
Next slide.
Now you can.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's all right.
It'll take however long it likes. There we go.
So second floor is going to be used as meeting space, potentially rented out to the community. And then down on here is a research center and some other activities. And then the Ms. Robinson, Nina Robinson,
Apartment will be there.
the replication apartment is going to be in here. Okay.
Next slide. Sorry.
Next slide, please.
Yep.
We are
promise.
again maintaining. No, it did it for me back at the office.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know why.
I'm gonna try click and then one more.
The elevations, I'll just tell you, we've been already talking to SHPO, State Historic Preservation, and we are going to maintain and restore both of these buildings to their original condition.
I'm so sorry. I think it's literally crashed the computer. Apologies.
Well, that's fine. The elevations are in that packet. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the rendering, which is on the last page.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the rendering of
I'm gonna do that and see if it'll.
the north facade.
Oh, it's restarting itself. It's a very dense slide deck.
So we're pulling, just in general, we're pulling, it's a concave on both the north and south facades. We're pulling away from the front of the existing facades so that we're not getting beyond SHPO's comfortability with that. Can you advance this one?
Yes, I do believe so.
So I talked about parking. Keep going, keep going, keep going. One of the things that's going to come up is our lack of parking. So there is connectivity with the Union Grove Baptist Church here for some parking here. However, the bulk of the parking is going to be down at the end of Granville and Winter up here. And we're proposing 108 plus or minus spaces to offset what we don't have for the museum. So those are going to be the variances that we seek. One, we don't have it on site. Number two, with the land available to us, we may not be able to achieve the city required code number of parking spaces. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I just wanted, we wanted to come because we really have been in the silent phase of this project. So we will be, and we're silent because the buildings have been vacated for quite some time. And we wanted to make sure that when we start to come out into the community, we're ready to come out. But we're still in the silent phase still, even in the fundraising. We want to be able to have a certain percentage of money raised by the time we do the actual groundbreaking. And so, but it was important for us to come today to be able to share with the Near East Area Commission to share this is what's happening. So even if people were to ask you, you know anything about the museum? Yes, we do know something about the museum, and to be able to say we will be coming back when at the right time for the variances that are needed for the project. But we wanted it's just really kind of a courtesy, and we're very excited about this museum, and I'm very happy to work on this and to be on it on behalf of the city of Columbus. And that's powerful when we're out talking to people, because we're getting a lot of public sector support. We're also getting private sector support. So it is moving, and it will happen based upon, obviously it's planning to happen, but we know that we have to come before the different, bodies for approval. But this is really, hopefully you'll get excited about that, those vacant buildings are also moving forward. And we're also working, as Jay mentioned, very closely with the church.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is my understanding that planning votes on conceptual reviews. So I would like a motion to approve the project, please.
Motion to approve, Benson.
Second? All right. All those in favor, raise your hand. Or
So,
no opposition, nobody abstained, unanimous. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, I'm sure that was.
Thank you.
Thank you for being patient with us. We appreciate your time.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know what's, sorry, slide deck is just like, the computer is just eating this alive. I apologize, I wasn't able to get.
Oh, that's okay, thank you.
It's not your,
Sorry, I'm very
I don't know, follow that.